What I'm holding right here is a typical upper body workout. Bench press, lat pull downs, tricep push downs, dips, bicep curls, shoulder presses, side laterals. But what I'm going to tell you is that there's something majorly wrong with this that I'm going to show you today how to avoid and make sure that you protect your shoulders.
It's cool, young Reese.
Guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com, back with, like I said a couple weeks ago, interrupted by the hurricane. We all stayed alive and well here. It was a pretty rough storm, but now we're back on track, up and ready to keep moving forward, and we're going backwards a couple weeks to readdress what I had told you about back then, which was how do we protect our shoulders when we're working out. And there's one major flaw that a lot of guys are not doing in their workouts, because I see it each and every day. And this would be your typical upper body workout. Now I'm just grabbing any kind of exercises here, but these are the exercises that you see populating most workout programs. Bench presses, lat pull downs, tricep push downs, dips, right? Bicep curls, shoulder presses, side laterals. All good exercises, all effective exercises for adding strength, adding mass, but something crucially wrong here is that everything that we see here is internally rotating the shoulders. Now what does that mean? It means that when our shoulders work and function, we know that they can flex forward and down, forward and back. We know that they can extend behind our body. Well, we sort of ignore the whole rotation component when it comes to shoulders. And I think where we also lose track is, what is rotation? Is it rotation just if I go like this? A lot of guys are familiar with rotator cuff, work and exercising this direction. But it's the same thing if I have my arm straight and I rotate my arm in and then out. That's also rotation, internal rotation, external rotation at the shoulder. This, internal rotation, external rotation at the shoulder. Up here, internal rotation, external rotation at the shoulder. So, all of these major muscle groups, the pecs are going to internally rotate the shoulder. The lats are going to internally rotate the shoulder. Okay, the delts are going to internally rotate the shoulder. So what are your only weapons to create an external rotation balance that's going to protect your shoulder going forward? Only one small group of muscles called the rotator cuff. And if you're not directly training external rotation, there is no residual overflow from any other type of workout that you're doing that's going to get you that strength. So nothing, let me underscore this one more time, nothing you do in the gym for internal, for the major muscle groups are ever going to pick up the slack of the rotator cuff and feed the strength that it needs to counterbalance all this internal rotation if you're not doing it. And I can tell you right now, if you don't have a shoulder problem, you're going to have a shoulder problem after years of training this way. So we need to get some kind of external rotation going on. And like I said, there's a lot of options because the way that you turn and position your arm is going to change. So one thing that I like to do is, we talked about it once before, our no money curl. What I did with the no money curl was, as I curled up, I actually externally rotated the shoulder. So not only was I curling the weight up, but I was curling up and rotating out. Same thing here. We can come and rotate, if I'm lying on my left side, say on a bench, rotate the shoulder out and then down, and out and down. Or we can work with bands, like you're familiar with, and rotate, in and out. So step out here, rotate out. Now the important thing is to always keep this elbow tucked into your side, because I can start doing that, and that is not rotation anymore. Now I'm just sort of working almost like a side lateral for my shoulder. So you got to keep it out so you're actually rotating in the joint. You'll notice this band, which is not a lot of resistance, is already probably too much for me to overcome. So one thing about rotator cuff, very light weights are usually enough to get the job done. But the point of the matter is, you have to be able to implement this stuff into your workouts. Guys that are already following ATHLEAN-X know that rotator cuff training is an integral part of the program. And not just because I'm a physical therapist and I'm trying to protect your shoulders. That's one of the main reasons why, but also it's actually going to improve the way you look, okay? People tell you to squeeze your shoulder blades back. That's not actually, to get better posture. That's not really the way they work. You actually want to rotate the shoulders back, all right? So if I were to rotate it back, immediately what I get is actually broader shoulders, a broader chest, and I actually have better posture. I actually look better than having that look, because that's the look you're going to get if you continue to train that way. So dual purposes here, guys, not just to protect our shoulders, but also to look better, get better posture, and be stronger, because you can get much more strength out of all those major muscle groups, the chest, the shoulders, the lats, if your shoulders are in the right position and balanced correctly. So, guys, if you haven't already, if you don't have any rotator cuff training, involved in your workout program right now, you gotta start doing it. Not only will you get stronger in all your other groups, your other muscle groups, but you're gonna look better, you're gonna get bigger looking, obviously because of the posture changes, and you're also gonna protect those shoulders going forward. So go over and grab the ATHLEAN-X training program. I lay it all out for you. I tell you exactly when to train rotator cuff, when not to, and how much to do, how many sets. It's all laid out for you. Become part of Team Athlean. Start training the way you should. Start training the way to protect all of your joints and start getting better results. Guys, I'll see you back here next week with another workout. I'll see you here, guys, in 7 days.
It's cool, Young Reese.